here we'll basically introduce to you some of the basic terminologies or definitions that we're going to use throughout this course. And the first term that I'm going to discuss with you is the thing called drowning. Okay, drowning is basically death that occurs within 24 hours of submersion. So if someone or some people who have basically turned out dead within the first 24 hours of submersion, he is called drowning. The second term is what we call near drowning. Well, as the term clearly said, it's near drowning, so meaning that that person basically survived at least 24 hours after submerging into the water. So he's not dead, so he's alive. So that's why we call that someone who is dead. It's called drowning, drowned victims, and someone who basically survived after the submersion, then we call him near drowning. So never refer someone who said that, well, this guy is a victim of drowning and he still can talk to you after 2 years. So that's not correct. So the correct term is called near drowning. Now, the third terminology that I'm going to introduce is called secondary drowning. Okay. When the word drowning means death, so it's death after recovery. So now, compared to primary drowning or drowning, the person never recover. Okay, the person never recover. But in secondary drowning, the person has drowned, and then after that he recover. So when he recover, we can call him near drowning. But in the end of the day, if he dead, he died after that, it is called secondary drowning or death after recovery. Okay, so the term changes with time. So if someone goes into the water, he's submerged, you bring him out, he cannot regain consciousness and he remain dead, we call him drowning. Someone who goes into the water, we bring him to the shore, we're able to revive him, and he survived for at least 24 hours. Okay, that is called near drowning. Okay, but if he recovers within 2-3 minutes and after that die again, is still considered as part of drowning. Now, this is person who basically has drowned and he has recovered. Okay, recovered for maybe a couple of hours or so, and then after that, or maybe even a day or two, then after that he died because of the complications, and that is called secondary drowning. Okay. Now, the next terminology which I'm going to introduce is called immersion syndrome. Now, immersion syndrome is basically death in icy water. Okay. Now, someone goes into the water. He goes into the water, and it was very cold, right? Something like this. Okay, where the temperature goes below 0, and he died. And that's all right. And this is basically drowning because of immersion syndrome. So death in an icy cold water. Now the reason of it is not clear, but some of people say that most of it because of this thing happened to the heart. If you look at this rhythm, now this is called ventricular fibrillation, where your heart is just quivering. It's not beating, it's just quivering. If you can really feel someone's heart, which, well, most of us can't, except for cardiothoracic surgeons, it feels like a back of worm. So the worm goes into the back, and then you feel that it was like quivering or moving a little bit, but it's not contracting. So because of this no contraction, there's no cardiac output, there's no blood flows out from the heart, and this causes the brain to become hypoxic, and the patient or the person dies. Now, the next thing is called wet drowning. Now, if you see this, wet drowning is when someone drowned, okay, he's dead. Remember, drowning is dead. So basically, when someone drowns, and if when at autopsy you open up and we found that the water fills in the lung is heavy with water, we call it wet drowning. Okay, right. On the other hand, there is also a thing called dry drowning. All right, and in dry drowning, it is something like this. Now, someone goes into the water, he's drowned, okay, but during autopsy, or when the pathologist opened up his lung, they found that the lung is dry, okay. Nothing goes into the lung, so something like this. The lung is kept dry from the water. Now, why? Well, some people has basically say that account this to a thing called asphyxia, where the larynx, okay, the larynx goes into spasm, so it closes, and there is no oxygen or air can goes into the lung, and because of there's no oxygen, it goes into hypoxia, and if the brain is deprived from oxygen for a period of time, then the brain is dead. So, which is caused him to have dry drowning. Okay. Okay, guys, clear? Good. So in short, we basically have introduced you to some of the key words that we're going to use throughout this course, which is which is basically drowning, near drowning, immersion syndrome, wet drowning, and dry drowning. Okay. Thank you.